It's the Overdose podcast. It's the Overdose podcast. It's the Overdose podcast. Too much of anything. Too much of anything could be toxic. It's the Overdose podcast. It's the Overdose podcast.
Everybody, welcome to the Overdose podcast, where too much of anything can be totally toxic. Everybody, welcome. I'm nobody but your host, Dr. Chris, Disabled but Able Chris. We got everybody streaming from everybody chiming in. We got Facebook on here. We got TikTok in the building. We also have YouTube. So everybody, remember to always do your best to support us in every way, guys. We are here to work together to build a community of people to understand we are on a whole nother level of something, because too much anything can be toxic, babies. So everybody, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please join us on the Overdose podcast. Of course, you can hit us up at any given time. We are here to support you. But not only that, baby, everything is toxic these days. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world today, everybody. So this show and the whole premise of this show is for us to shed light on many different subjects, from relationships to financials to struggles to health to all of the things that impact us on a day-to-day basis, guys. Everybody automatically go to the stereotypical thought process that overdose is all associated with drugs, baby. But just about everything in the world can be considered that. Too much of anything, even if it's some good old water, too much of it, it'll take you out. So guys, we are here to support you. We are on a whole nother movement at this time to make this thing go bigger and better, to touch every corner of the globe, to let everybody know that you are bigger than it. So guys, for today, our word of the day. You know, we got to do a word of the day. We are talking about intimacy today. Intimacy is our word for the day. If you do not know what that means, close familiarity with friendships, closeness, period. See, you have relationships, you have friendships, you got all different factors of ships that affect us day to day, guys. And it can be healthy or it can be too much of it, baby. Always remember that, guys. So, guys, remember again to like, comment, and subscribe to the Overdose podcast. We are here for you to spread a message of strength and getting that middle line balance for your life and to impact somebody else all at the same time, guys. So, of course, you know, we always are going to show love and homage to our panelists, because you know they're here. You know the panelists are in the building. Don't even worry. They in the building, and it's about to go all the way down. Okay. All right, everybody. So today's show, of course, we're focusing heavily on this right here. The levels of intimacy. Question, what does it mean to not only yourself, but to everything around you, baby? So it's going all the way down. Of course, we want to pay homage to, of course, everybody multifaceted on this panel, okay? But I want to show some love, of course, to our Victoria Poole. Always going to shout her out every chance I get, along with our team that we have for our panelists, Visions of Validation. Please check her out at www. Let me put it back up there for you. www.thebovbrand.com. So guys, I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to express that on last week, we actually did a missing person alert for our good friend, Bud King. He was actually missing last week during our last show, guys. And we wanted to show and pay some respects to him on that search to find him and bring him home safely. Well, guys, unfortunately, at this time, we are here to let you know that that Bud King has passed away. They did locate his body, and guys, we want to show love to Bud King. He will totally be missed. Victoria Poole, of course, introduced us to him, and he's made a major impact in her life. So we wanted to show homage and pay homage to him on tonight and dedicate this show tonight to Bud King. You will be missed. He was very impactful in the DeKalb County. And it's so much, guys, going on around you that you don't even know is happening. You may be here today and gone tomorrow. So, guys, please try your best to be vigilant. If you see something unusual, please say something. If it's out of the ordinary, and even if it comes back that it was just a fluke, guys, take the time out to be aware of the things that are happening around you and also the communities that you live in, guys. You have to take the time out to care a little bit more. And that's in all counties. Of course, you know, Atlanta, there's so many things that run through our city of Atlanta that at the end of the day, guys, we have to be a tight-knit community to fight all of those forces that may come against the good, the bad, and the indifferent, guys. So again, we want to show love on behalf. I know I wanted V to speak, but I know it's a lot right now, guys. This is really impactful, guys. There's more information if you visit her page, Victoria Poole, on Facebook. You'll get more information about his services. If you would like to assist the family in any kind of way, guys, please consider that at this time. It's so important that we shed light on those situations. Of course, we want to say that the show is also sponsored by the Geeks Group ATL. Of course, Geeks Group LLC has been formed. It's laid out. And baby, we are doing magnificent things, guys. We are doing magnificent things. So, guys, this show is sponsored by that, but we want to, again, just show love and respect and dedicate this show to Bud King, guys. Thank you so much. So, that was a lot. That was a little heavy right there, y'all. That was a little heavy. But, guys, we really appreciate you joining in with us on tonight. Guys, we're moving forward in that conversation of really understanding the levels of intimacy. Do we really know what intimacy really is? Everybody automatically goes to a sexual situation, but it's not always that, guys. It's sometimes just blatant situations. There's levels to it. And today we are going to pay a little conversation on tonight to the levels of intimacy. So, guys, let me go ahead and get the panel up in the building. Let me get the squad up here so they can introduce themselves to you guys. Let's go. Let me get them in the building. Let's go. You see V right there. You see RJ in the building. And of course, woo woo, Kevin, whoever we talking to today. It's so good to see each and every one of you guys. I wanted you really introduce yourselves. A lot of people have been asking about you guys. So, guys, if you can go ahead and say a little something about you, let these people know what's going on.
Show mute.
Yeah, unmute yourself, baby.
Look, I done gave a whole spiel. Y'all could hear me. My name is Victoria Poole. I'm a singles coach. I'm a #1 international best-selling author, and I'm your outstanding queen of American Beauty's Place.
All right. Y'all know that resume longer than that, baby. But we might need the whole show for that guy. All right. Everybody, whoa. What's up, baby? Talk to him.
What's happening? Whoa, you big whoa. So, real script in 1-5. You know, we coming together, build community. Just your big dog, just your big brother in the house, representing real script 1-5. And if it ain't for God, it ain't for nothing. You know what time it is. Let's get it.
Let's get it. It's going down. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. RJ, come on, my free spirit. Talk to us.
Folks, what's going on? My name is RJ, 27. I'm the young buck, young knowledge, young king. I'm living life. All glory to God. That's it.
Man, thank you so much. So panel. We know today is kind of what? A mystery, okay? So today, guys, we're basically talking about the levels of intimacy. So how are we going to tackle this, guys? The way we want to do this on today is that we want to hear from everybody, wherever you are. If you're in Facebook land, wherever you are, if you're on TikTok, wherever you are, guys, remember, we are working together to build a community to understand that there's always a need for healthy balance in everything that we do. So before I even put anything up about intimacy, what does that look like for you? Let's go. Who going?
Ladies
y'all
first.
Say ladies first. No, we're going to let y'all go first.
Y'all go first.
All right. Kev, you want to go or you want me to go?
Go
Come
ahead.
on, RJ. Talk to
All
us.
right. When I think of intimacy, I think of spiritual connection. Is it?
That's it. Simply that.
Mhm.
Come on, whoa.
Spiritual connection. Intimacy. Intimacy could just be a friendship. You know what I'm saying? Intimate is the level past just surface level. You know what I'm saying? It's past an associate. You feel me? When I meet you and we talk, we just associates. You know, hey, bye, what's going on? You know, what the weather like. But if I'm more personal with you, you know what I'm saying? Getting a little deeper with you, that's intimacy. So it's that level past just associates, just hey and bye, just surface level. Anything in any relationship.
Let's go. All right, V, let's hit it.
For me, it's the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual closeness. It's just that bond that you have that's on a whole nother level.
Listen, let me tell you, them bonds are serious, baby. And I'm with you. It's levels to all of it. It's like a lot of people just articulate intimacy from a sexual standpoint. That's the easy part. That's the easy part. If y'all really think about that thing, it's really the easiest part of expressing a form of intimacy. But that is like the lowest on the totem pole in my mind when it comes to all of this stuff. So, guys, we're gonna dive into it. Let's see exactly what there's a lot of philosophies. There's one of my good friends did, she brought up a lot of people just don't understand intimacy. So this whole conversation is dedicated to her too, because she's like, listen, people got it all wrong out here. Like they don't understand what it really takes in friendships, any kind of ships, relationships, any sector of your life, how it can ultimately affect how intimate we are and how we engage with one another. So guys, we're going to tackle the 6 pillars of intimacy. Okay, so the first one that's honed in on is this one. Everybody, levels of is physical. This is the form of intimacy most people envision. Everybody, I'm gonna bring that back up. Where we're hearing the word, it involves touching, cuddling, holding hands, all of that good stuff. That's the physical form. Do you guys also feel? Do you feel like that's the easiest way to express, or what do you think? Can y'all just jump in them bones with somebody? Talk to me. Let me see.
Absolutely no. It ain't that easy. Nobody's that easy to start that. It starts with words of affirmation 1st.
I ain't ever been there, even though I'm a man, and you know, people look at men like we just all sexual and we all physical. I've been the type of man that even if we was just having a good time, I had to have some kind of connection with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I never could just, you know, be in the moment with a complete stranger and just, you know what I'm saying, rock hard, ready to go. It never been like that for me.
Right.
And for me, it's like you can get sex when you can't get nothing else, right? So what else are you bringing to the table? The physical it'll be there, but what else?
And I think that's the biggest part, because I think, and I will give my fellas a, you know what I'm saying, y'all get a real hard rap, right? Y'all get a real, because it's all about, sometimes people think about status quo when it's coming to the physical intimacy. Everybody, you know, they want to look like this thing in certain people's life because of the amount of partners they've had. And then you got the other scenarios where people just in themselves, they was like, if their ego is driven by their physicality and their ability to provide those moments of intimacy from a physical standpoint. So guys do get a rap, but girl, y'all don't think ladies get a way bigger rap if we did carry that same philosophy that a lot of men and women carry?
Most definitely. It's a double standard. It is a double standard.
Right. It ain't right.
It's
I want
right.
to know why.
It's right.
Right?
It's right.
You can go out in the streets and do what you want to do, but I can't do what I want to do. What's going on with that?
But I think women are doing what they want to do.
But you know what? I think because we got a voice on a whole nother level now. It's just certain things we ain't laying down to on certain things. What y'all think?
But I think sometimes we too physical. We gotta tone it down just a little bit, but we are just as bad as the men. I can't even say that it's just them. It's both.
It's both. I'm sorry, it's both. And I think people are mixing their ability to say, I'm woman, hear me roar situation with then saying, okay, this is how I can be just like fellas, or the stereotypical thought process of men. Not necessarily. You do not have to carry that. It's all about, to me, a state of mind. And at some point, It's like the physical. Okay, baby, make it to 70, baby. Some things don't change up with that thing. So what more do we have outside of just giving of our bodies to somebody? What more is that? And I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up. What y'all think?
Hey, I think Nikki hit it right there. I ain't gonna lie. If you look at Nikki's post, she says women are out there doing what they want, but they are losing their value while doing it.
Exactly.
Nikki, you better talk that talk.
Exactly.
But do you think men also is losing their value too?
It's a double standard, like Kevin said. Double standard. Yeah. You don't think so, Kev?
We gain value. No, I'm agreeing with you. We don't lose value. We gain value. So
you gain value
socially.
Yeah, you gain value. I'm with her. I'm with
socially. Even with the women. Even with the women. I mean, no woman wants a man that no other woman wants. Facts or no facts.
That's true. I will say that.
Look at this.
So the more women that I have, the more my value goes up, not just socially, but in relationships as relationship values. Because for some reason, if more women want me, a lot of women feel like something must be really good with me. You know what I'm saying? So it makes my value go up. I think so, most definitely.
Well, as the coach,
a rare breed. That's what it is. A rare breed.
It's trauma. Again, I'm gonna say it every single week. When you start to do it too much, it is a form of trauma. Yes, socially, you look like you're the man, but it also shows that you have a lack of self-control.
Period. It is, and it's like
that's this argument. They go to the lack of self-control, but I mean, okay, if that's where you're gonna go with it, but outside of that, let's keep it 100, right? My physical part, the physical part of intimacy is very important for women, right? You don't want no man that can't get up. You know, he could be the sweetest man, nicest man, best man in the world, but if he can't satisfy you in the bedroom, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be an issue. So let's not take away the value of the physical part just because there are other parts of intimacy. Let's not downgrade the physical part. Now, the physical part is a key component and it's major.
And let's not forget too that physical is not just sexual. Like she said, it's holding hands, it's holding each other, it's the physical touch, not just sexual.
And that's the biggest part. I think we mixed it all up.
What you say?
I said, as soon as we start talking about physical, y'all start talking about sex. We wasn't talking about no holding, no hands.
I read the definition, sir.
No, you started first.
And you started it, and we're gonna crank with it. Okay. Yeah, so that's it's like I try to get that one out the way because that then it kind of helps you to explore. You have to go to a whole nother level of exploration with whomever you do choose to go there with. That's what I really feel. You got to go to a whole nother level with it. But sometimes all this willy-nilly actions that we're doing is not the healthiest way to get it done. That's all I'm saying. I really think it's just not the healthiest way to always get that thing popping to get it done. So guys, let's see. So let's get back into it. So here we go. So we don't tackle the physical. We're going to come back around that because watch how this go. Watch how this go. All right, guys. So here we go. Back to it. Levels of intimacy. What does it mean? So we're going to go to the next one. Okay. Number 2 on the list. We're looking at what? Looking at the emotional side. While physical intimacy is displayed by physical touch, we are still thinking about how we demonstrate through words and communication. What is your take on that?
For me, that's an important one. It's not my top one, but it is very important that we know how to communicate, that we know how to effectively express our emotions and using emotional intelligence. You got to have it.
We got to. We have to.
I got to stimulate your mind first before I get physical with you.
Well, how you know you're going to stimulate somebody's mind? How you figure that part out, RJ?
With my words. Conversation. That's how it works. Conversation first. So that's me.
But I think it's like, what about the depth of the conversation? It's like I can totally have a conversation with you, but at what point do you distinguish between the both of you guys? Where you go with it? Like where do you make that line, John? Where you feel that comfortability that you can do that?
Definitely not at the beginning, but as it graduates over time.
Come on, so it's
That's
level
it.
to it. It's level
Absolutely.
to it.
Absolutely. Vic, you agree? Kev, you agree?
Come on, what you saying?
Emotional, I think it look different for men and women, right? For women, I mean, the emotional part is way different because that happens almost immediately after sex for y'all, right? So after the physical part, a lot of times y'all get emotionally invested when a man could still be being physical but not emotionally invested. So I do agree with Vic on the part of it is important, but not so much for men in this aspect of so much of our emotions because we're not really big on emotions. We more logical. Men are logical creatures, so we more so physical and logical.
I think y'all are more emotional than a female all day.
Wait. Hold on. I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you do that. We get emotional when we're at that state of vulnerability. Right or wrong?
Okay.
That's right.
Right or wrong?
We just don't operate off emotion. Yeah, y'all operate off emotion. We don't. We will get emotional, and some men are more emotional than women, but yeah, no.
Some men start off emotional.
It's a double-edged sword. That's what it is.
And in my dear old lifestyle, baby, it seems like the next week is the emotions is there. I'm like, hello, can we slow this thing down a little bit? So it's really all kind. I think it's case by case, to be honest. It's case by case. But I have noticed that guys really, really get in their feelings very swiftly now. Like they really are starting to express their vulnerability, which I think is a beautiful thing. But in all actuality, I feel like it's always been that way. I just feel like it's always been that way.
What do you elaborate? What do you mean?
Okay, so guys, when they take their time, as you can see, guys are, you the alpha male, you have this kind of thought process where, hey, you're looking from the social standpoint. Also, ego gets into there. It's a bunch of stuff that fold into that bag. But then in that same breath, men are oftentimes, or masculine presenting people oftentimes are very invested when they make that decision and tell you that. They really take it to a whole nother level when they personally outwardly express it. Like if a female says it first, then they they get to weigh it. But a lot of guys are starting to express, and also masculine presenting females also are expressing openly how they feel at the forefront now. And do you think that's what it's been? It just wasn't expressed openly like it is now?
I think men now have a hard time expressing their emotions. Again, as we talked last week, a lot of times women don't allow men the space to be vulnerable. So I think now they hold back more than ever.
We need that safe space.
And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing is because we don't get a lot of practice with dealing with our emotions like women. Because y'all operate off emotions, y'all dealing with them and learning how to deal with them constantly. We're not. Once again, we operate on logics. So once something emotional happens, a lot of times we don't know how to respond because we don't have no practice with dealing with our feelings and emotions. Because once again, we don't. That's not our operating dynamic.
Right. So if you had the opportunity, and I just want to hear this right here on this one, if you had the opportunity to express, do you think it's easier now than it ever has been before to express those emotions to your partner, your friend, your spouse, whoever?
I mean, it's still the same thing. No woman wants and we talking certain types of men and certain types of women. Let's be clear, right? But no woman wants a soft man, right? You don't want a soft man, and no man wants to be soft, right? And it's not an attractive trait for a man to be soft and in his emotions and in his feelings. They're still the same as it's always been. The world is becoming very, very soft, right? So now that it's so soft and it's so, you can't say this and you can't do this and you got to worry about everybody's feelings. Because we've taken this soft position, more men are coming out because they're feeling like because of that stage has been set that they're safer. What they finding out though, you put yourself out there, you're still gonna get ate up by them sharks the same way. So it's not no safer. It's just the appearance. You see what I'm saying? Because it is facade.
Totally, I totally can agree with that. And so that then leads us into the other aspect of that. So when we're looking and examining that, let's look at the factors of the next pillar, which is an intellectual kind of situation. This is an area of intimacy, guys, that many couples don't consider. They do not take the time to consider. It occurs when we share ideas with each other in an attempt to make things appear and exchange our thoughts and views and communicate openly. I feel like they run hand in hand, emotional and intellectual. What you think?
It does. It does.
It
my
doesn't
number
for
one.
me.
What? Go ahead, Vic. Let me hear.
I know, Rhea. I was waiting for it.
I'm
Let me hear.
telling you,
Austin. Tell me why. Tell me why.
The intellectual is everything for me. That's my top one. Because if you don't feed me intellectually, you're not going to tap into them emotions. You're not going to tap into the physical. You are not going to tap into the spiritual. You're not going to do anything but just be. That's right. It. Like, you're going to just be something else to do.
Like I said before, I got to stimulate your mind.
I have to have the intellectual. Have to. If I'm not learning from you, I don't want it.
Woo! Did y'all hear that? V don't want it. You understand me? But you come on, Real. I see it in your forehead, like right there.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
The brains popping out.
Right. That's right. Yeah. That intellectual, that's a whole nother world within itself. But how I'm gonna come is like this. I've been told by women, right, that most men are not looking for intellectual women, right? He's not looking for an intellectual equal when he's looking for a partner. And I actually can see that to be kind of true. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily looking for you to be my intellectual equal. At the same time, how strong intellect is it's almost like cheating, right? I don't even have to be having sex with another woman, right? But if me and her are intellectually building and linked, stimulating each other, that's powerful. That's almost worse than sex. You know what I'm saying? Totally. You kind of would rather your man just hit her. You know, just hit her and keep it pushing. You feel me?
Like we used to do.
Yeah, don't be getting no intellectual bond with it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it causes the world, boy. I mean, tell you, it's because it's a whole nother depth of emotion when you can get somebody that can go there from an intellectual standpoint. Oh, the emotions gonna come, and baby, that chemistry gonna make that physical happen on a whole nother level. When you are taking that time out to identify that, but I'm trying to really articulate why is it so hard for us in a household dynamic, however your household dynamic looks, why is it so challenging for us to tap into that? Why we can't just openly have that kind of dialogue where I'm okay to share my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings with you? Why is it such a challenge? Like, it's no big I little you to me. So why is it such a big challenge in households today?
Because households don't have that safe space to be intellectual.
Because I'm going to lose every time. I'm going to lose. We lose. Now women can come home.
I'll never lose. What you thought? No.
If you're looking at it that way, but if you really think about it, for me to have an intellectual connection with somebody, I look at you as a leader. So I need you to teach me what you know, just in case you down on hard times. I have to step in and fill in when you can't. I think we look at it as, oh, if I teach her too much, she's gonna dominate me. No. I got to be able to hold you down. So I need to show up as you if you're not in the picture.
I like that. I like that.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I'm teaching you, you teaching me. That's it. I'm here to learn. You're here to learn. I'm willing to learn. You're willing to learn. Right. I want to teach you. You come teach me. That's how it goes.
That's right.
Straight like that.
You gotta, the key to that whole sentence was willing vessels. You gotta have a willing vessel that's willing to invest.
Willing and able.
Willing, and we ain't even gotta be all the way equal, because everybody's had their different walks. I might have been in relationships for a longer period of time than you. This may be your first serious situation or friendship where you're really taking that relationship or that ship very seriously. Like, you have a different outlook on it. So I can't measure it like that. But what I can do, are we willing to meet in the middle to really understand and have that dialogue where it's healthy? Nobody feels jaded or thrown on the bus if you do express in one way or another, if it is counteracted to what you want. I think that's where the rifts come. I really think that's where they come at.
You got to compromise.
They do, and I think bring up important, because if we really could enter this space, relationships would be a lot better off. You know what I'm saying? It's just what we're saying, though. We talk about it in the podcast. It's that safe space. It's that not willing to be vulnerable because of what others may do with their vulnerability. You feel me? I'm not putting myself out here if I'm risking losing everything. I'm not coming home to have an intellectual conversation with my wife, you know what I'm saying, just till next week be going through divorce. I'm not doing it. You feel me? Because she's in her feelings, or you know what I'm saying, I came off wrong, or I deliver wrong, I don't know how to communicate properly, or whatever the situation may be. But men lose. You got to remember, like, this whole marriage dynamic, you know, that's all for the woman. Like, at the end of the day, she wins from that. We don't win from that, right? We win in the relationship sense, like what we get from it, right? Because as a man, a lot of men, we want that family, we want that woman, we want that support, right? So that it is an important part, but that vulnerable part, remember, like, we have to be strong and we have to be in a position to be strong. So we can't afford to be in our feelings and in our emotions, because then we start making illogical decisions, and then that messes with our operating power, and now we all out of whack. You know what I'm saying? So,
but if you guys are logical beings, why is it that you get the emotional mixed up with the intellectual? Because what you just described seemed to be emotional to me and not necessarily intellectual, because it's all based on an emotion. With intellectual, you coming in, you teaching me about the 4 agreements, or, you know, all these different things that, you know, we talk about all the time. We read different books, though. That's intellectual to me. So how does the emotion come into you teaching me to better myself?
Because my intellectual invokes your emotion. It goes back to what RJ just said. Before I can stimulate you physically, right, I gotta with my words. You feel me? And that's what I'm saying. An intellectual connection is one of the most powerful ones. You see what I'm saying? Because through my words, I can evoke all kinds of emotions out of you. You feel me? If given the opportunity. That's why.
I got you.
Right. And I totally get both sides of the spectrum on that. We just have to stay in a space that we have that area where that gray matter comes in, right? We don't know what's all in that gray matter, but we're willing to, if it does surface, how do we get to that next place where we can get to that? Because a lot of people, again, just don't know. Everybody has their own levels of life experiences, walks, all that good stuff. So we have to heal. You know, that's why my big thing is give a little grace and mercy. But that doesn't mean to be foolish and also neglecting yourself and what you need from an intellectual standpoint. That's my biggest part of it. It's like, of course, there's levels to everything. We all have different ways, but how can we merge this thing together? If we really want this, and this is friendships, relationships, in between. At the end of the day, if we really fighting to make this thing work, we have to develop some kind of grace and mercy, and not only that, willingness to say, hey, let's try to figure out how this dialogue happens between us with no one feeling inferior in the process. I think that is the biggest piece to that. Really, really so much is that to me.
And then another piece is you have to be willing to compromise and have an understanding to have that type of conversation.
Right.
I think.
And how do we do that? No, go ahead, V. No, go ahead, V. No, I'm saying, because I think that's where we right. We asking how do you do that, right? Exactly what Chris said, exactly what RJ said. The question is, how do you do that though, right? What's the first step? What do you do if you want to create this space in your household and there is not a space, right? Be the first person to be fearless. That's the first step, right?
Wow.
Take the initiative.
Take the initiative to be vulnerable, because a lot of times what you're gonna find in vulnerability is that, damn, the shit went as bad as I thought it was, right? It didn't go as bad as I thought it would have, right? It actually went a lot better than I thought it would have. That's the first step. Keep going into that space. It's not always gonna be, you know, you come out squeaky clean. But if you keep going into this space and you practice that, right, then eventually that's going to get easier and easier. And then the other person will then feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable themselves. I think that's the first step. That's the how-to.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I think for some people, go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go V.
No, I was going to say for some people, you don't know that you need it until you get it. Because I know for me, at first, mine was definitely not intellectual. But it wasn't until I got it that I realized I was really missing something. And so I think some people have to have that aha moment, like, oh, this is a real thing. Like, people really operate like this. So it's everything Kevin said. Well, excuse me. Whoa, everything Will said. And you just putting yourself in different spaces.
Mm-hmm. And being okay in that space. I'm with you on it. Being okay, because it is a building block. I think people rush into so many things, or actually even separate from stuff, because they don't take that time out to have that intimate moment where we can say, hey, this is what I need. This is what it looks like. This is how I want to express it. Can we marry our thoughts together? How can we do that? Even if we don't agree, we're from different worlds. We ain't going to agree every time. But is the willingness there to basically, some stuff I'm going to adopt it. I'm going to try to take it on and apply it. Some stuff won't work. But in that, does that take away from the quality of intellectual value that you have for one another? That's the kicker. I don't think it takes away. It just shows your humanistic side that, hey, I'm not just going to say I'm okay with everything you saying to me just because I want you so bad and I want this to go like this, or I want our friendship to flourish. No, we're able to have that dialogue where I care enough about you so much so that I'm going to tell you because I love you. And no, you ain't going to like it every single time. But at the end of the day, we're having an intellectual, emotional, and baby, if it's on that other side, we might go there because we have gotten an understanding. That's all we got to do. I really think that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, man. Even taking that initiative can be emotional as well, but it's the willingness to take that opportunity and take that chance. That's the thought that counts.
Yes, and a lot of people in the comments are saying on TikTok, they're saying setting boundaries, expressing those things outwardly and openly are important. Sometimes you got to be able to have somebody that's willing, and we're all hitting on that point head on. We have to have somebody that cares enough to care about the emotion or the intellectual value that I bring in the relationship. That don't mean I know it all, because nobody knows it all. We're going to learn. We're going to leave here learning, okay? We're going to leave here learning. So at the end of the day, in us knowing that, why do y'all think, I really want to know this, why do you think that we are so hard on each other, and even in our communities, why we have this big stigma? Let's, for an example, a lot of people say Black businesses. Why do we give such a hard time in those areas when we're trying to develop a community? Like, that's my biggest thing. You're trying to develop a community. We're networking, like TikTok, all the places where we're a part of. At the end of the day, we're all trying to reach a common goal. Why is it so hard for us to be okay with not being in agreement, but still being able to work together in the community to make it a better place? Why y'all think, from a whole nother perspective, professionally, what do y'all think about that?
To be honest, when it comes down to and I'm a Black business owner, so don't get me wrong when I say this, but sometimes we are not professional and we don't show up in ways that we should. And that's just the truth. And sometimes when your homegirl asks you to do something, it takes forever. She done paid you just like a regular customer and everything else, and you feel like, oh, because I know her, I can move how I want to move. Sometimes we don't show up in the best lights in business, and that's just the truth.
That's the truth.
Social media, a lot of those things, just like Vic said, a lot of perfect examples come from social media in regards of unprofessionalism when it comes to the Black community and Black business owners as well.
Yeah,
I believe that's just crazy. Barriers that's been set not by us. You know what I'm saying? Barriers have been set to keep us apart, to keep us from building community. That's why in so many spaces we're doing what we call breaking barriers, right? Because barriers have been put up and placed so we don't connect, don't link. Hence the, erasing the culture, right? Erasing your actual history. Like these are the barriers that have been set. So we have to retrain, reprogram in order to rebuild the community.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
all day. And that comes to willingness. It takes us right back to willingness to be able to take that constructive criticism, that critique from somebody that's been in the game longer than you. It's like we have to be able to say, hey, myself say, I don't know it all. Somebody know a little bit more than me. And if that ain't my cup of tea, I want to learn to get the values that somebody's willing, because a lot of people, baby, you got to pay that dollar to even get them to talk to you for 30 minutes. At the end of the day, it's like placing those values where we care so much so about our community and ourselves alike, that we're willing to go there to have those hard conversations, to improve upon what we're trying to do and build an empire where we're not looking at ourselves as inferior.
And Flex made a good point on TikTok. It says, we don't educate ourselves before opening business. That is a very true statement. Because even with me, some things I was winging it when I first started. And I was like, man, I've been doing this all wrong. So we have to learn the hard way.
Yeah. But the key is you're willing, you realize, you know what I'm saying? When you do get a hold of what you need to really get a hold to, and you reflect back over what you're done, the willingness to adopt a new strategy and way is the kicker. Because you got to get out yourself way and realize, hey, I don't know it all. And I'm going to fall short every day. And if we get that where we set aside, like a lot of people saying about the ego situation, if we're able to do that, baby, we can pack a powerful blow. But sometimes we got to get outside of ourselves and our know-it-all mentality to know that we don't know it all. And it's okay not to know it all. Just get it out the mud. Do what you can do to improve. Because every day, I don't care how good the business is, if you're $1 billion business, they're always looking at ways to improve. And that's the key to it all. So, y'all, that was beautiful. Let's get back into it. So here we go. All right, guys. So levels of intimacy question. What does it mean for you? So the next level of intimacy, guys, here we have creativity. Creativity is another less often discussed type of intimacy that is still important, guys. Let me bring it back up for you. Okay, creative intimacy refers to expressing ourselves through our passions. What do you think of that?
I agree with it. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. You got to do something out of the ordinary. Can't do everything. Can't do everything like everybody else do on social media, man. You gotta. You gotta do that. You gotta do that, hiking, walks in the park, picnic. You know what I'm saying? Do that stuff,
Stepping outside the box.
Break it down for me. What are we talking about in this topic? Creativity, intimacy. Somebody put me down. What are we talking about?
So having the ability to express through your actual, whatever a lot of people say niche, whatever your thing is, whatever your passion is, having that ability to be able to express that not only with your ships and your close relationships, but outwardly and openly in the world that's looking to see and learn more about you and what you can bring to society. So that's what we're talking about from creative intimacy standpoint.
And I would even add to that to say, being creative, like he said, with dates and different things so that the relationship doesn't get boring.
Right. What you think?
Yeah,
Does it happen? Y'all know y'all get bored, right? Y'all be acting like it's all beautiful and y'all get bored. See, you gotta just tell the truth sometimes. Y'all be like, lady, sir, ma'am, sir. Listen, we gotta do something a little different up in here. Now let's be honest. Now come on, let's be honest. We got to. Even if it's a wonderful relationship, even in your workplace, it applies. I keep trying to tell people it applies to everything. Yeah, you got an excellent performance review. Yeah, you're gonna get that bonus for the quarter. But at the end of it, baby, there's still something gonna be on there to help you improve to be even better than you already are. Now, are we receptive to receive it every time? No, because we think we perfect almost. But the reality is, I think you're really honing in on yourself within your passions and within expressing, like in the land of TikTok, in the land of Facebook, whatever you do in your businesses and your work relationships, you're able to express through your passion how big and awesome you can really impact our world. That's what I get from it. That's what I take from it.
I agree.
What y'all think about this? CJ said pride and ego getting in the way. What y'all think?
Getting in the way of what? Creativity?
Anything we do. Any form of intimacy, ego can get in the way. You don't think so? In pride?
Yeah.
That's most
RJ, would you like to elaborate on that? You said, yeah, really slow and long. Let's go.
No, I know. I didn't say slow anyway. I agree with it because I know it. My ego and my pride does get in the way. So I can admit that.
Me too. My energy real big. It gets real hard out here. I be
Because
trying
you're
to
an alpha
hold it.
male, that's why.
I be trying to hold it back, y'all, but I'm just saying. I know who I am. Okay, I keep trying to tell you, I know who I am. Okay.
You an alpha male, we know.
Not an alpha male.
No man, you don't see no man. This ain't that call me a whole
You know,
man.
see, why you gotta take it? Why you gotta take it that way? You know exactly what I meant.
No, I no.
You
I'm
said
not
alpha male.
Mm-hmm. I'm
okay,
but you see, whole man.
but you know what I mean, Vic. Come on now. You know what I mean.
I don't.
Yo.
What you mean, RJ?
You members in this, baby. No.
Like the
I'm a woman.
Crystal is a hard worker. You feel me? She has that mentality, that go mode, that motivation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the alpha mentality.
Women not hard workers. What you saying, RJ? Women not hard workers.
So you get yourself deep in that.
Don't do that. Women are hard workers. I'm not saying no to that. I support all the women in this chat in the world. All women are hard workers. I'm not disagreeing with that. I love it. Okay. I love it.
So what makes it a male?
But you call me a whole man, honey. I do not have a
why you gotta take it like that though? I didn't. Why you take it like that though?
You just
all right. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna rephrase that. Crystal, you are an alpha female.
Thank you. I'll accept that, but I don't even think I'm alpha like that. I'm really not. I'm partly proud of Chancellor Shout.
Just big energy.
Big energy. Tell him again, real. Tell him real. You don't know what he's talking about over to call me a whole man. I don't have no penile system.
Nikki, I didn't mean to offend you either.
That was funny. That was funny. But yeah,
so got offended.
I slick got offended, bro. Slick mad about it. Like, what's going on? That was funny. I get what you were saying, Fred. I totally get it. But it's just a part of it. It's just like, and I think that's just coming from upbringing, what I was required to do, how I had to handle situations, what I've been through, where I have to take like, but then sometimes what I'm learning now is that it's important to also be vulnerable. So that to me comes easier to say rah versus now me being more vulnerable and open. It's like I'm really having to tap into a space that I normally try to, push down. And so I feel so much better where I don't feel like I got to be alpha all the time. I can just be, Chris, and that all makes up the components of me, and I think we all have a piece of that in all of our lives. So yeah, it's okay. But I don't have no penile system, sorry. Y'all, I'm still. Don't pay me no mind. All right, guys. So here we go. We got two more, and let's get to it. Okay. So now, when we're looking at it again, we have experimental. Okay, experimental. Let me bring it back up. Let me drop this comment. We're gonna bring it back up. Let's go. So let's see. Experimental. This occurs when we share new experiences with each other. They gave the biggest thing that I read about when we was looking at this is that, during COVID time, you had no choice but to get to know the person that you rarely spend. Think about that thing. You work about how many hours in a week? It's only 24 hours in a day. About time we get home or, with our friends or hanging, like we busting this because it's time to eat, go to sleep, take a bath, do all that, touch the cross, do everything you got to do, and that's it. And so you don't have a lot of time to really dive into that side of it. But when COVID happened, y'all was up in each other's house, and the rates of divorce skyrocketed. We was almost close to 55-60% already. But when COVID happened, those 2-3 years being locked up in the house together, baby, it told a lot. So what do you guys think about the experiences of that, the experimental side of it, where we share experiences together? Is that a whole nother level of intimacy we don't really tap into because the time ain't there? What y'all think?
I think for a lot of people, they have these boundaries, and boundaries are great to have, but I think sometimes with your partner, you should explore different things because that's going to tap into the creativity, and it could tap into the intellectual side. It could really bring you into different forms of intimacy if you explore things.
Yes. What you think, RJ?
I feel like we have to get into that safe space in order to experiment those type of things. You got
So
to be
why do you
vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable to that, and you got to be, what's the word? You have to be willing to do something like that.
I got a question. Because we keep saying we got to be willing and we got to be vulnerable. We got to get to these spaces. How long does it take you to get to these spaces with these people? Because if it take me that long to be free with you, I don't want it. It shouldn't take forever. And again, I do know, I said it earlier, that sometimes women don't allow certain spaces. But when do you, as the man, make the call and say, you know what, this just might not be for me?
right?
What's a long? Wait, let me ask you a question. What's a long time for you, Vic?
I mean, it's case by case. It depends on what you're showing me.
As a man, to answer your question, Vic, we don't, men will take advantage of a situation. You feel what I'm saying? We'll if it's something that we benefiting from it, whether we know we want to be with her or not, we'll stick in the situation and just get what we getting out of it. So when you ask when we gonna pull the plug, when it ain't beneficial for us no more, you know what I'm saying? Or we found something better, it's a lot of times when we pull the plug. But for the sake of this conversation, I think we're talking about two different things, right? Because it was experimental intimacy and not experience, right? And we blending the two, but to me, they're very different because when we experiment, and now we starting to tap into the creative intimacy that you was talking about the slide before, right? Because we were experimenting, and that's the creative part of us, right? But then the experience is something that's happening to us. It's not something that we're doing to get a result, right?
Right.
We're actually, it's happening to us. COVID happened to us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely different. I want to make sure we differentiating the two. Experimental once again is more so creativity. And now that slide make a little more sense to me because I was like creative. Sometimes to me it's like we too creative. You know, and that take us to places maybe we shouldn't be in. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I do understand a creative aspect, right? But when it comes to something, better just to keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Because when we start experimenting, that opens up a can of worms. That opens up doors and things that we may, see, ain't nobody tell you to be experimenting. You should have just left that door closed. Creative, yeah.
Trying new stuff, speaking new languages.
How you with that sprained ankle because you was in the experiment. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta try.
You gotta try though. Like what? I'm with Vic. Like we gotta try some, don't we? We gotta fail at something. Like we gotta try it. I think that intensifies every other sector of the whole 6 pillars of intimacy to me. You willing to experiment or have this? I feel like an experiment turns into an experience for both of us because we both can take it from two different positions because how you get it is how you get it, how I get it is how I get it. But at the end of the day, I think that's what drives home all the other elements of the intimacy levels because then we stepped out on a limb. We did something that we both may not be familiar with. You may know a little bit about it, but we tried something different. And again, like I said, it can be applied with every sector we in, from professional relationships, friendships. I mean, it's just one of those things. So if we're able to experiment, then that creates the experience, that adds the creativity, that gets us to go to a whole nother intellectual atmosphere, which leads us back to the emotions and then takes us there if that's the part of the relational side of the world we're trying to go.
But you're doing all of that and we ain't got the basics down, is what I'm saying. That's why sometimes we got to keep it simple, stupid, because this is what we're talking about. During COVID, what happened? Yeah, you said during COVID, what you said happened. Divorce rates went up. Why? Because motherfuckers were being too creative in their relationships. Didn't even have the basics down pat, right? Y'all already taking trips to Belize and out the country, being creative and doing picnics in the safari jungle in Africa, right? Being so creative. But when you come back to the house in Latonia and Decatur, Georgia, right? You don't know how to cohabitate properly.
Okay.
right here in Decatur, Georgia. You all apart, you know what I'm saying, being creative.
What's the basics, my boy?
The basics
what
is
do you
what
feel
we
the basics are?
You know, the communication. Let's start with that. If you ask majority, anybody in the chat that's married, all these married couples, I always ask married couples when I see them, right? Hey, what's a tip? What's the secret? How you keep it going? I'm talking about healthy married couples, or even, you know, people that's been married that their marriage wasn't successful, right? If you could do it over, what was the thing that tore y'all apart, or where did y'all go wrong? It's communication. That's what we be talking about, right? It's no safe spaces. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm waiting for you to do something or say something so I could throw this shit back up in your face, right? I'm waiting for a chance. Not me personally. I'm just saying in general, this is how we treat each other, right? So I'm not tell you, you know, nothing vulnerable. So once again, you know, long story long, communication. This is why we got to communicate and we have to create these spaces. This is why we can't do it.
I hear you. I hear why you feel it falls asunder, but be like, no,
you still got to experiment. Once you get past all that great stuff you talking about,
so we can go sit in the house and talk about what we want to experiment, because we got to learn communication and not really go out there and do it to develop a whole nother level of communication. That's all I'm saying. We got to try somehow. We can't stay in the deck, baby. We got to go somewhere where we never been before sometimes. I'm just saying.
Let me say this though. That's not proven. That's a theory. You feel what I'm saying? It's a theory that we got to do this. We got to experience. We got to try something different. No, you just need to fine tune the simple stuff. It's the simple.
What if you don't have the wait a minute? Why? That's the whole point of the hypothesis. We got to have the educated guess, and then we got to try it out, and then when we do it, we have a conclusion.
It's not a science experiment. See, you can't treat your relationship
like a science. Are you kidding me? A relationship ain't no science project.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I'm gonna tell you the major difference. In a science experiment, your feelings is not involved and is not on the table. All right. So in a science experiment, we don't.
My hypothesis, a form of my thought process, was deals in the emotions of me wanting to prove something through this act. That is the whole point of the educated guess.
Yeah,
I had to start from somewhere. I had to find the gap in knowledge, baby. I had to.
Nah, relationships is working off, you know, this intimate experience that we're talking about, and we don't have an intimate experience with the frog that we dissected. You see what I'm saying? So once again, stop treating your relationship.
What Joyce said, please.
Look, me and my hubby are 22 years in, and we love being creative and experimenting together. That's the spice.
And she probably got the basics down pat.
All right. Boom, bam.
And guess how it started? With communication.
Now, see, like you just said, V, like you just said, they probably have the 22 years. They have the communication down pat. They have the basics down pat. Now we can experiment. The space I'm coming from, to be clear, is you meeting these people. You got all these creative ideas and all this experimentation that you're doing off the rip, and you haven't even got the basics down. That's the space I'm coming from. So let's be clear.
I got you on that part, but I still think
like experiences help to evolve my ability to communicate and have the thing that I'm trying to discover with you. In order for me to get that, I have had to have some ideology of what I may have experienced from my past time to my current, which then plays in the fact of what I'm desiring most in my relationships, which then guess what? We date. Then we get out there and date because we have identified what we're seeking in the partnership, friendship, work relationship that we're trying to develop. But guess what? I don't care how much you got on that list and how it's supposed to be. You got to test it out, baby. You got to test the water. That's the whole point. I feel like it's levels to it. So that's why I look at it from an experimental. I mean, that's may not be the best word to use. But if you break it down, baby, the dates are experiences. Those are your testing the hypothesis of what you're trying to develop to ultimately have an end goal of a relationship, a working partnership, a relationship. So at the end of the day, it's all a test to me of the emergency broadcasting system. It is.
You don't need somebody got a question for you, by the way.
Who? How long?
How long does it take to get the basics down?
Victoria already answered that. It's a case by case. You can't put no number on that. That's like, that's asking certain questions. How long do it take to fall in love? Some people it's off the rip. Other people, it took 2 years. They knew each other, they was around each other, and it took maybe 2 years for them to fall in love. So that's that. But look, you don't even believe what you're saying for real. Let me put you down. V, you don't even believe what you're saying, right? Let me tell you why you wasting.
Put me down.
If a man experimented with you and you were on the other end of this experiment, like you're talking about, how would that make you feel? You wouldn't like that. You wouldn't want to be a man's experiment.
How you know that? I wouldn't want to be a lady's experiment, a man's experiment.
That's my hypothesis is that you don't want to.
Is it?
If I'm,
is
you
it
being too direct with the analogy? It's simple. You being too. No, I don't want to be a science project, but I am, because you got to learn the inner workings of me to even get to that place of where we can have all them other levels of intimacy. So you got to get up. You got to learn something about me. That's the only way to do it. You got to, and then interpret it. And you got to have trial and error.
Okay.
It's going to be trial and error in that thing. That's all I'm saying. It got to be.
Okay, yeah. All right, you want me to agree with you?
So you just going to go off in that thing. So you just going to go off in that thing knowing what you're doing.
Okay, yeah.
You just got it off the rip. That's what you're doing.
Okay, y'all right. Okay, y'all right. Okay.
Now, I know, right? I love the dialect. We finally do not agree this week. I'm so happy.
Right.
I have achieved a goal today.
Yes, because I'm not coming up off this. Once again, you see what CJ said. You would feel played with. If you was a man's experiment, you would feel played. If I told you that, if I was honest with you and we was having a deep conversation late night, right? Pillow talking. And I said, baby, really, you was just an experiment to me. When I met you, I was just experimenting with you and a few other women, right? I didn't plan on being, nothing serious with you or anything. You're just an experiment. I'm experimenting. I had to test it out. Huh?
But
that's what dating is. It's an experiment. It's collecting data.
Let me say something. Dating, marriage is all a trial and error. It's an experiment.
It's an experiment.
Right or wrong?
Wrong.
Next one.
Wrong.
It's not?
Nope.
I'm like, listen. People get married, people have divorces. That's trial and error. Yeah, we learn from our marriages. We learn from our relationships, right or wrong?
Absolutely. You learn from
all right,
them.
Next question. Let's go. Next question.
Well, let me just put this out here.
Experiment.
Listen to me.
A scientific approach. Let's go.
If you were with a woman and she just stays in the same position the whole time y'all together, you gonna be satisfied with that?
Yes, because
I want to ride. Don't do it live today. We ain't lying today. Come on, Chet. Let's talk about this.
I don't do no lying.
Let's move on, because he finna sit here and tell a lie. A lie don't kill him.
Boy, you is too very thorough in what you desire, baby. Ain't no way in Sam Brown you'll sit there with that. Joy said, Kevin. We gonna call you Kevin, though. That was Kevin. Now let's just be honest now.
You most definitely could be satisfied with it.
I know you like the back of my hand. I know you lie.
I know you lie. Sorry, y'all. This thing is falling.
Look, you laughing over that so hard. You know you lying.
He couldn't even keep his face with that, y'all. He couldn't even keep his face. He couldn't even keep his face with that one. Now that sounded real good, friend. It sounded good.
No, it didn't. It didn't sound good.
Listen, it did. It sounded real nice about 2 seconds. Then I thought about that thing. My head said, "Huh? What you say? Do what? Oh no, baby. Let's go ahead and end it right now. Let go. Let's not wait no time today. Okay. All right, y'all. We got one more and we rounding it out. Let's go. All right, guys. Let's go. Spiritual. You know it had to be in there. Through this, we may sound as though it refers to religion, but it's much, much more than that. Let me put it back up. The concept refers to sharing the ideas of higher levels of such beliefs and standards and principles. What is your take on that?
That's why it's not an experiment, is because we're having a spiritual encounter. Okay, so we're just here to experience it, right? Because you keep trying to break it down and make it a science and apply scientific procedures to your relationship, right? Maybe some of the factors in why it's not working, right? Once again, my point being, relationships aren't science projects, people, right? There's spiritual bonds and spiritual connections. This is what we're supposed to be out here having. So if that's what you're having, you're just experiencing that, not treating it like an experiment.
We'll give you that from the spiritual component of these 6 pillars, baby, because all the rest of them. But listen, because if we are in 2 different, okay, there are plenty of people that from a religion or belief standard standpoint and boundary standpoint, you have to decide, are you willing to compromise? Because again, we're from different places, different spaces, and different experiences, right, in our lives. Because right. And the way, matter of fact, how he's raised, all of that stuff factors into that. So we know we all gonna have 5 to 10 things. It's proven in psychology today. We're gonna have at least minimum of 5 to 10 things that we will have to merge or compromise on from our own personal environments, our economic statuses, and all of that stuff that plays into that. So with all of that being said, baby, we gotta test the water out, don't we? Don't we? How do we not? Because if I don't know nothing about you, when the aspects of you believe this way, you believe that every morning we should go, every day we should pray. If that's what you believe, just using that for an example, I ain't pushing no agenda. But if that's the thing, we supposed to pray for a whole hour and a half before we start work. I ain't never did that in a day of my life, but I prayed. I said my prayer, got on my knees, got up and went on about my day. I did not have a whole ceremonial situation where I'm laying on the floor, laid and prostrate for an hour and a half, but you may be. Then where do we marry that? We have to then, guess what? If I love you so much, I want to understand the why, because I care enough about you and respect your beliefs and how you have done things BC before Crystal. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to respect that, but that I cannot allow that to also take away from the factors of what I have been predicated on and what I've put my life and my beliefs into. So that's where we then say, hey, where do we meet in the middle? And I think that is experimental. It is. Because I got to test it. I got to understand. I got to get the depth of. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. I ain't been doing that for the last 20. So where do we put that time together where we can have a cohesive relationship, friendship, work relationship, to where we can still sit horses, even though we've done things so differently that align with the same thing all these years in our own little worlds. We got to do something, don't we? We just ain't gonna wake up in the morning doing it. No, we're gonna apply some factors. Right. So what y'all do?
Okay, so you want to compromise. Let's compromise then, right? Meet me in the middle, Chris.
Yes, I think, love. Let's go.
Let me offer a new word instead of experiment, and let's see if we can come in the middle. What about
pull up the dictionary? What's this? What's the synonym for experiment?
Learn or to study, right? I don't think that a person would mind being learned or mind being studied, but I would mind being an experiment. You see what I'm saying?
No.
No.
Because a study is an experiment. A study. We had to break it down to where, okay, a lot of things that we do are learned behaviors, everybody. You didn't wake up in the morning just knowing all the books of the Bible. You didn't do it. You learned it and you adopted the principles of that. So that's a learned situation.
I tried to offer the word learn instead of experiment, right? I'm having a hard time with the word experiment. But it seems as if we agree on learn. So let's just meet in the middle with learn.
Yes, love. We are meeting in the middle with learn. But while you learning, boo, guess what?
I can't meet in the middle with that.
She said she can't go there.
I can't meet in the middle.
What you say, RJ?
Why you can't compromise in the middle? Why you can't compromise in the middle, Victoria?
Because learning and experimenting are two different things to me. I can't. Because they're two different things. Learning and experimenting are two different things.
You don't have to adopt what you experiment.
Right. So
yes,
so
that's what I'm saying. It's not an experiment. That's my point. If you don't have to adopt it, then we're talking about experimenting in a relationship as if it's a science. The person is, we have to dissect.
Well, let's not be in a relationship. Let's just date. So you tell me the framework of dating. Period. Tell me the framework of dating or building a work relation with a whole new partner. How do you do that?
The framework is we stepping out together to see if we bond, if we click, if our chemistry aligns with one another, right?
You have to experiment to learn.
No, you have to experience.
You have to
you don't have to experiment with a person.
You gotta experiment to learn.
No, you don't.
I have to do it to know if you like it, and then now I've learned
to prove or to improve or approve something. I'm just saying. They are a lot of people saying yes. That's being different and still being able, and still able to not have conflict. Yeah, so why would we not try to improve in the relationship aspect of learning, which, again, I'm taking your word, learn, because even in learning, we have to do what? It has to be some kind of application. So in order to be applied, we got to do what? Test the waters. In order for me to even understand, to even get to that place with you, to go to the next level of experimenting. That's all I'm saying. We're just gonna not use the word experiment. You don't want to be a project, huh?
With you and they wanted to experiment with other people. Would you be down for that?
Wait, say that one more time.
Repeat that. You want to ask me that question? Did you show you want to ask Tanita that question? Hold on. Did you show Barbara? This is Shirley. You want to ask me that?
Wait. Yeah, repeat that question. Let me hear it again.
I done forgot what I said. I don't even know what I said.
You know what you said. You've been trying to get into this conversation for 3 weeks, so go ahead. Let's go.
Don't get to that part. What I say? Don't get to it. I already know.
What I say then?
Friend. You can be multifaceted and compartmentalized, varying relationship and still have a cohesive unit in a polyamorous situation. Okay, we ain't talking polygamy, people. We're talking polyamory. Okay, so since you want to go there, let's go. Right. Do you want to ask me that question? Let me help you. Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley. You want to ask Kevin?
Now we're here. So now we're here. Kevin. We have arrived. Right? We have arrived. Let's go. This is what I'm saying when I say you don't even believe what you're saying, right? If I was with you, Victoria, and I wanted to experiment with other women, would that be okay?
No, it's not okay.
Okay, so now here we go. So now
that's her guy.
That's not what?
I said that's her guy, and that's her boundaries that she's establishing in her situation. But you want to ask Crystal that question again? Do you want to ask me?
Oh yeah, I'm going to ask you next. Let me prove my point.
But let me say this again. Dating is collecting data. Right. So if I meet a man and he's already dating other people, that's what it is. I have to choose to stay or not. At this point in my life, I'm choosing not to stay in anything like that.
You would not want to be part of an experiment, a man's experiment. Why are you arguing with me with that?
Into a mutual understanding. Come on now.
Okay,
if we can't
let's go with Chris, because me and you might agree here, Chris. I'm asking you.
I'm listening.
If I was in a relationship with you and I wanted to experience other women, would that be okay?
Yes. It would be absolutely okay as long as we have established the boundaries, how we're going to do it, the way we're going to have a whole guided process to understanding how this is going to be done. So I absolutely agree with your having that additional desire, because baby, just because you got with me don't mean everybody else turn ugly tomorrow. It's about what we decided to do in our household to make it go round. And if you wanted to experience other women, people, places, and things, I'm cool with that. As long as I'm made aware, I'm not blindsided, and I'm not put in a situation that I don't have the ability to choose. That's
communication.
That's it. I'm good. But where people go wrong in this conversation is they don't do that. They don't open their mouth. They don't communicate. They don't say what they want. They do all the other stuff around it instead of just tackling it head on. That's my biggest issue. Because you don't know what Barbara gonna say. Brother might say, "Shut up, you come through." You hear me? But it's all about what we can compromise on. I'm just being honest now. Don't ask me that one again.
Most women, do you think most women would be willing to experiment if those were the conditions?
A lot of women would.
They would if they knew.
Sure. If they
There are
knew,
a lot of women doing it now.
They would.
Yep. Because you can't. Because here's what I'm gonna say.
We can go to a bar and be hanging with our friends, and we right there with ladies, dancing, living our life, ain't nothing going on, and we going back to our boo at the end of the night. It's nothing. It's all about how we're able to compartmentalize those type of relationships. And if you being honest and say, well, Kevin comes out, and then Real say, listen, this is what I want to do over here, then you're giving me my ability to choose and not taking it from me by placing these other sanctions and things before you got it to me. See, that's where people go wrong. Tell me what you want, baby, because we can go to Burger King.
That's not an experience. That is a whole different experience. See? That's what that is.
That's what if I ain't never done it before? No, I'm trying to please my
experience something different. It wasn't an experiment. That's an experience. That's an experience.
It was an experiment that turned into an experience.
Hey, all right. So hold on. I'm gonna give an example. All right, say for instance, all right. Me and Victoria, we a couple, right? All right, so we at the bar, we chilling, having drinks. Me and Victoria see this nice, beautiful woman. Say, oh my gosh, she look good. Vic, what you trying to do? You trying to
go on over there.
Exactly. So what's that called? We're gonna experiment this. We're gonna experiment this threesome to see if it works out, and there we're gonna have that experience.
I can't do that.
Experience this threesome. Do you want to have this experience with this woman? Not do we want to experiment on this woman?
But what if she ain't never done it before? What if she was willing to go outside of her normalcy for the sake of pleasing you? What? Excuse me?
That's called a new experience.
Boy, listen. Boy, you can stay right there for the rest of the night. You go ahead. But baby, if you come to me, honey, don't bring your choir members in here, and you ain't told me that the choir was having rehearsal this day. We gonna sit here and have a conversation, because that's the conversation before your
Wait. Listen to this. Hold on. Experimental intimacy test the relationship boundaries. Experimental. Keyword, experimental.
Of the emergency broadcasting system. I keep trying to tell y'all that. Because what if we test it out and that'd be your first, your last
experience?
Experience. Because we've done it. It has been tested. And then I'm able to express my experience and my moment that I had with you, honey. And it went what I thought it was hitting on. So you might not get that again. You see what I'm saying? That's where we can discuss the experience.
Of course you don't.
I know you don't.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Could you handle a compartmentalized world like that, friend? Could you really handle I really believe you can, because I hear it in your throat. I hear it right there. But can you really handle the emotions of multiple, especially in a femininity situation where you are at the top of the triad, sir? Would you be able to handle all those sensations of emotions? And when somebody's new to that, they're fresh, they're a gold card on that situation. Would you be able to handle and compromise with that person to see that a part of their experiments that created them to develop the experience? Then it's going to predict how you move forward in the future from that aspect. How do you handle that?
Well, yes, you could handle that, and I'm gonna ask it in this way, like. Okay, what happens when you meet a place in your experiment where your data can't give you no answer, right? See, this is where I'm trying to make the difference between the two, right? It's no longer an experiment. It's not something you're doing. Now you have to sit back and just experience it, because you don't know. It's foreign. Last week's topic was unfamiliar territories, right? And it was well, when you're here in these unfamiliar territories, then now what, right? So this is what I'm saying. You get in this experiment with this person, you're trying to break everything down. You want to answer for everything, right? Then you hit a brick wall, right? Because there are no more answers. Now you don't have an answer. You see what I'm saying? Now what? Now you're stuck in a place where you have to do what? It's just experience. You see what I'm saying? And if you understand, so to answer your questions, if you understand, if I treat this woman or these women, right, with an experience mindset versus I'm experimenting on these women or with these women, that's going to create two totally different dynamics. One's going to work and one's going to not, in my opinion.
Or we can say this is inconclusive and we're going to try it again later.
We're
going to experiment again and we're going to add something else to it. And then from there, we're going to have a whole nother experience.
And we're going to chop this up as an experience.
That's right. This right here. This right here is a panty dropper. Baby,
it was a beautiful experience.
Oh my God, y'all. We could talk about, man, let me tell you, it gets real. Because that's what I love, that we're able to communicate varying experiences and really look at the difference of levels. But can we agree to kind of can we really agree in the sum of things? Can we really agree that all of it, you got to have a little piece of every part of it? I really think if I were to conclude with anything, we have to touch every segment of every pillar. I really feel. I mean, in order for us to somewhat have a well-rounded understanding of one another, if we're wanting to go to that place with those people, places, and things, whatever that may be for you. So I think we don't have to have it down pat. It does not have to be proven a million different ways. However, we come to a sense of agreement that there's a need, in my personal opinion, for every part of that, because some people are going to be better in other places than the other side of things, and one pillar versus the other. But how do we marry that to where we can have a solid working relationship, friendship, situationship, whatever it is for you, whatever ship you got? How can we all merge all of those thoughts together to have a ultimate overarching goal of having a great quality of life from an intimate standpoint? What y'all think? That's what I take on it. That's what I get from. I don't know, honey. We might be doing all kinds of flips and dips, baby, but I'm just saying. It's levels to this thing. You got to have somebody willing. That's what I'm in. You got to have a willing vessel. And if they ain't willing to flip, fold, mold, and they want to stay in that missionary for the rest of their life, baby, there's one person that can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? We got to experience something. That's all I'm saying. I'm done with that. Y'all go ahead with y'all final thought on this intimacy. Who they think that got my blood pressure up tonight, boy?
But that's facts, though. You got to be willing. You got to be willing to do those type of things, because if you ain't willing, then this ain't it. This ain't it.
Y'all, did y'all see what Nikki said? Hold on, I gotta put this on y'all. Nikki said, baby, it's inconclusive. We have come to an inconclusive time in the show on the Overdose podcast that we just ain't gonna sit well on this one. You know what I'm saying? But y'all go ahead. What y'all think? Give your final thought.
My final thought would be to experiment so that you can find the experience that you so desire.
Oh, we have it, folks. What you feeling, RJ?
Oh no, she already said it. I agree with Vic. That's what I was gonna say. You gotta experiment.
So it's left to me, right? So
yeah.
Come on, we ain't going back.
That's where you gonna stand. Then I'm gonna stand.
I'm sorry.
Don't experiment with your intimacy. Experience your intimacy.
That sounds so beautiful. You better drop the mic. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X in the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the calls, but I got to do a little different from your Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? That's a little different. I got to raise a little hell with it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all crazy, bro. That was amazing, guys. I want you guys to know you guys have been phenomenal. Yeah, again, y'all got these people in this comments going in, honey. You would think they want to come through the phone. Seriously, guys, I really think it's all about perspectives. It's a beautiful thing that we're able to communicate on that level. But not only that, we have to just really, in all, we got to kind of really understand what intimacy is for us, while we're also trying to adopt a new language of intimacy with somebody else. That's what it really boils down to. And you got to have willing vessels to do so. So don't be calling her woo, whoa, real, and Kevin, all of y'all in combined, and then gonna tell me about it after you already thought about it. Don't be doing it to me, okay? Let me know what you want, okay, so I can make my conclusion. While you trying to experience, and you trying
hey,
to
Kev, Nikki said pick that mic up.
Please.
pick it up. Pick that mic up. Pick it up. Guys, y'all are phenomenal. Guys, please let everybody know I'm on TikTok. Guys, please follow everybody in the box. You want to make sure you follow them, baby, because it's getting bigger and better, as y'all already know with the Overdose podcast. Baby, this panel ain't going nowhere. They're here to stay, baby, because, baby, I'm about to pull this whole hair off. I'm finna pull Tina off messing with real today, baby. Let's say something. But anyway, guys, thank you, guys. Everybody give your handles. Let them know how they can reach you outside of our Yard Stream, our Facebook. Let them know what you got. Let them know what you got going on, guys. Let's go.
Follow me on Facebook, RJ Blake, TikTok and Instagram, Rob_Anthony96. You know what it is.
Everything Real Script 15, Instagram, TikTok. Once again, I'm definitely new to it. If you got tips for me, if you can help me out, reach out to me and help you all out. And remember, if it ain't for God, it ain't for nothing. That's what's up.
It ain't for nothing. Don't be.
Follow me on Facebook, Victoria Poole, on Instagram, Visions of Validation, and Victoria Poole on TikTok.
Man, when I tell y'all are absolutely wonderful, you keep these folks on their toe, and y'all raise my blood pressure. You know I got heart problem. I can't be fooling with it. Listen. Lord, y'all, but I love it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Of course, we're gonna get y'all in the box, and I'm gonna get a final reflection, and we out of here. But guys, thank you so much for again making this a phenomenal. Like, y'all had a good time. Y'all had fun.
Oh, most definitely.
Always.
It was a beautiful experience.
Precursor.
Oh man, get this man out of here. Get this man
out of here. If we
didn't
experiment with this a couple of weeks ago, we wouldn't be having this experience.
Exactly.
We're gonna deal with this next week. We're gonna make sure that you get to discuss that topic next week, Fred, because we gotta get this out. We're gonna talk about that pilot all day.
It's dead. This is it. We ain't bringing it up no more.
We're gonna have one subject that week.
I can't do it for another hour.
You gonna run it.
And then we are having a great experiences every time we on here.
Listen, I am switching roles. You is running this show that week, baby. Because, baby, we gonna get that out your spirit that week, baby.
We're gonna take that word out your vocabulary. We're gonna take it out the word. We're gonna take out experiment and experience in the next podcast.
Listen, and it's inconclusive. You hear me? Everybody said it's inconclusive, people. All right, guys, but I appreciate you guys staying in the box. I'm gonna go ahead and get a final thought, and I'll be right back with you. Hold on one second. Y'all, when I tell you this was absolutely bananas. When I tell y'all this was a wonderful show tonight, guys. Always remember, it's important to understand what intimacy looks like for you. Ultimately, everything we're saying, guys, we all have our own special formula of how we view it, how we understand it. But the key is knowing is what does it mean to you, everybody? What does that look like for you? Everybody, it's okay to understand that you may be a little different from your friends, your partnerships, your relationships, however you present the lifestyle you live. It may not reflect the same thing other people do. But at the end of the day, we're able to have a conversation, a healthy conversation, in knowing that, hey, if we think too much on this side, we oftentimes can forget about the thoughts and the compromise with the person that we want the most, we love the most. But not only that, in our working relationship, it can be detrimental if we do not take the time out to tap into every aspect of intimacy, guys. And that's important because it's a building block. And I really, really feel, based on everything you've heard tonight, your comments, your thoughts, everybody, you guys play a pivotal role in helping us to understand the balance of how we should take things and how we should understand it. And that's the beauty of working together, guys. Taking the opportunity to not always take what you believe as the Holy Grail, but also being able to compromise on a whole nother level where it's no longer toxic. You got a healthy balance, guys. So remember, I ain't nobody but good old Chris. You can find me on TikTok, Disabled but Able Chris. Of course, please, y'all, make sure you follow all of our panelists, baby. When I tell you they are everything, and baby, we're going to go ahead and get that Polly out of this baby spirit that we, baby, we're getting it out there next week. I don't care what's the lineup. We talking about it next week. So you want to make sure you in the building because it ain't all what you think it is, people. You're going to learn something new with Overdose Podcast. So we love you guys. Please follow us, subscribe. We are pushing out the YouTube even more. Of course, we're on multiple platforms, but we're going to push it out, and we're going to make sure that we're open and honest and have this natural dialogue with everybody, that guys, we can work together. Even if it may look a little toxic sometimes, baby, we always come to a happy medium at the end. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the Overdose Podcast. We will be back next week, same time, same station, Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a business, guys, let us know. We want to highlight you on the show. We'll put it on our social media platforms so you can get your space for free highlighted on a very syndicated app, guys. That's on TikTok. We're going to show it. We're going to show it on our YouTube and our Facebook and Instagram as well, guys. So please be sure, if you want to be a part of the show, this is for free. We are pushing the love for all businesses. Whatever you do, we are here to support you guys. But remember, this is the Overdose Podcast, signing off for the night. And anything, too much of anything, no matter how good you think it is for you, can be toxic, baby. We love you. You guys have a wonderful week ahead, and we love you. See you next week, guys. Peace out.
It's the Overdose Podcast. It's the Overdose Podcast. It's the Overdose Podcast. It's the Overdose Podcast. Too much of anything. Too much of anything could be toxic.